I never thought my quiet suburban life could unravel in a single suffocating moment. I'm Vanessa, and my days used to be a comforting blur of coffee, design work, and the steady hum of my husband Mark's garage projects. But beneath the surface of our cozy home, a storm was brewing. One I didn't see coming until it crashed over me like a tidal wave. It started with familiar faces, trusted friends, and a betrayal so raw it still burns in my chest. Now, I'm trapped in a web of secrets, torn between protecting the life I've built and the truth that could shatter it all. What did I stumble into that day, and how far will it go before everything I love is lost? Picture this: the faint hum of a lawnmower buzzing somewhere down the street, the kind of sound that seeps into your bones on a lazy suburban morning. I'm standing at my kitchen window, a mug of coffee cooling in my hands, watching the world outside our little slice of normalcy. My name's Vanessa, and at 35, I've carved out a life that feels like a well-worn sweater. Comfortable, familiar, maybe a little frayed at the edges. I'm married to Mark, who's 38, and has hands that are always smudged with grease from tinkering with engines. He's a mechanic by trade, but cars are more than a job to him. They're his sanctuary. We've been together for 8 years, and our marriage is a patchwork of good days and rough patches, stitched together with quiet evenings and shared silences. Our home, a modest 2-story in a sleepy neighborhood, has a small backyard where I sometimes sketch ideas for my freelance graphic design gigs, and a garage that might as well have Mark's name on the deed. It's his domain, his escape, and I've learned to give him space there. I work from home most days, crafting logos and layouts for clients I'll never meet in person. It's flexible, sure, but there are times when the walls of this house feel like they're closing in, when the silence gets too loud. I've got Mark to anchor me, though, and through him, 2 other constants in our lives: Jake and Ethan. They've been his buddies since before I came into the picture, both hovering around their late 30s, each with a presence that fills a room in their own way. Jake's the kind of guy who commands attention without trying. Tall, broad-shouldered, with a scruffy beard that looks like it's never seen a trimmer. His voice booms, always laced with a joke or a story, and he's got this rugged charm that makes you laugh even when you don't want to. Ethan, on the other hand, is the shadow to Jake's spotlight. He's quieter, more reserved, with sharp features and eyes that seem to see right through you. His gaze lingers sometimes, in a way that's hard to read, and it's always left me with a flicker of unease I can't quite name. They're over at our place a lot, especially on weekends, helping Mark with whatever car project he's got going. The garage becomes their hangout, a mess of tools and beer cans, the air thick with the smell of oil and the sound of their banter. I usually keep my distance, popping in with a tray of snacks or a quick hello before retreating to my laptop. I like them well enough. There's a camaraderie there, a sense of family almost. But there's always been this undercurrent, a subtle tension I can't pin down. Maybe it's the way Jake's laughter sometimes feels too loud, or how Ethan's quiet intensity makes the hairs on my neck stand up. I wake to the familiar clatter of metal on metal, a sound that's become my unofficial alarm clock. It's Mark, already out in the garage, banging away at some engine part or another. The sharp, rhythmic clanging cuts through the morning stillness, pulling me out of a dream I can't quite remember. I roll over, blinking against the soft light filtering through the curtains, and catch a whiff of coffee brewing downstairs. It's a comforting smell, rich and earthy, mingling with the faint, nostalgic twang of classic rock drifting up from Mark's old radio. He's got it cranked just loud enough to hum through the walls, a soundtrack to his endless tinkering. I sigh, stretching out the stiffness in my limbs, and swing my legs over the side of the bed. Another day in our quiet little routine. Downstairs, I shuffle into the kitchen, my bare feet cool against the tiled floor. The coffee maker gurgles its last few drips as I grab a mug from the cupboard, the ceramic warm from sitting near the pot. I pour myself a generous serving, the steam curling up in lazy wisps, and settle at the kitchen table. My laptop's already there, waiting for me to dive into the day's work, but I take a moment to sip the bitter brew and scroll through my emails on my phone. A few client requests, a couple of spam messages, nothing urgent. I've got some design layouts to tweak later, but first, I figure I'll freshen up with a quick shower. The thought of hot water washing away the morning grogginess is tempting, and I'm already mentally mapping out my to-do list as I take another slow sip. Around noon, I hear the crunch of gravel outside, followed by the unmistakable sound of Jake and Ethan pulling into the driveway. Their voices carry through the open window, loud and brash, cutting over the low rumble of their truck engine. Laughter spills out, sharp and unrestrained, as they hop out and head toward the garage. I can just make out Jake's booming tone, tossing some playful dig at Mark about that old car he's been obsessing over. Man, you still trying to resurrect that rust bucket? Might as well call it a scrap heap. I hear Mark fire back with a chuckle, his voice muffled but warm. Leaning over the sink, I peek through the kitchen window and catch sight of them. Jake's got his usual grin plastered on, all teeth and mischief, while Ethan lingers a step behind, hands in his pockets. I raise a hand in a small wave, and Jake spots me, tossing a quick wink my way that's equal parts friendly and teasing. Ethan, true to form, just gives a slight nod, his expression unreadable as ever. I offer a polite smile before turning back to the counter, used to their little quirks by now. With the guys settled in for whatever project they've got planned, I decide it's the perfect time to slip away for that shower. The house feels a bit too quiet now that the guys are out in the garage, their voices fading into a distant murmur as I make my way upstairs. The wooden steps creak under my weight, a familiar sound that echoes through the empty hallway. I grab a towel from the linen closet, the fabric soft and worn from years of use, and head into the bathroom. The door clicks shut behind me, and I turn on the shower, letting the water heat up as steam begins to curl into the air. I strip down, the cool tile under my feet, a sharp contrast to the warmth building in the small room, and step under the spray. The hot water cascades over me, washing away the lingering sluggishness of the morning. It's a moment of peace, the steady rush of water drowning out everything else, wrapping me in a cocoon of solitude. I'm lost in thought, letting the heat loosen the tension in my shoulders when I hear it. A faint creak, the sound of the bathroom door easing open. It's barely audible over the patter of the shower, but it's enough to snap me out of my daze. My first thought is Mark, maybe popping in to grab his razor or something from the sink. I call out, my voice light and casual. "Hey babe, I'll be out in a sec." There's no answer, just the soft, deliberate sound of footsteps on the tile. My stomach tightens, a prickle of unease creeping up my spine. I tilt my head, trying to listen past the water, and that's when I peek through the foggy glass of the shower door. My breath catches in my throat. It's not Mark standing there. It's Jake and Ethan, their hands still smudged with grease from the garage, their faces unreadable in the dim, steamy light. Panic surges through me, hot and sharp, as I fumble to grab the shower curtain, yanking it around myself like a shield. My voice trembles, cracking as I force the words out. "What the hell are you doing in here?" My heart's pounding so hard I can feel it in my ears, the water still pouring down, soaking the curtain as I clutch it tighter. Jake's the first to speak, his tone almost too relaxed, like this is no big deal. "Mark sent us up to wash up. Downstairs sink's clogged, you know." But his eyes, they're not on my face. They're lingering, roaming in a way that makes my skin crawl, and I feel exposed even with the barrier between us. Ethan nods, adding, "Didn't mean to startle you, Vanessa." But there's something in his voice, a low edge I've never heard before, and it doesn't match the apology. The air in the room feels heavy, suffocating, like it's pressing down on me from all sides. I want to scream, to tell them to get out, but my throat feels tight, the words stuck somewhere deep. Jake takes a step closer, his boot scuffing against the tile, and a smirk tugs at the corner of his mouth. It's not the playful grin I'm used to, it's something darker, hungrier. Ethan hangs back, his sharp features tense, like he's wrestling with something, but he doesn't stop Jake. He doesn't say a word to pull him back. My grip on the curtain tightens, my knuckles whitening as Jake closes the distance. Before I can react, his hand reaches out, gripping my waist through the thin, wet fabric, pulling me toward him with a force that makes me gasp. The barrier between us feels like nothing as his face dips close, his breath hot against my neck, and I feel the rough brush of his beard as he presses in, claiming a closeness I never invited. I try to push back, my hands shoving against his chest, but my arms feel weak, trembling under the weight of shock. "Stop! Jake, stop!" My voice cracks, desperate, but he doesn't pull away. Instead, I feel Ethan move in, his presence looming as his hands settle on my shoulders, firm and unyielding. His voice is low, almost a whisper, as he murmurs, "You've always wanted this." My mind is a haze, a swirling mess of shock and disbelief as the bathroom around me blurs into a watery fog. My hands are shaking, uncontrollable, as I push against Jake and Ethan with every ounce of strength I can muster. My palms press hard against Jake's chest, then Ethan's, trying to create space, to reclaim some shred of control. My voice comes out raw, hoarse, like I've been screaming for hours even though it's only been moments. "Get out! Now! Just get out!" I manage to rasp, the words scraping against my throat. They step back finally, but not without those looks, those smirks that curl their lips like they've won something. Jake's eyes glint with a sick kind of amusement, and Ethan's quieter gaze carries a weight that makes my stomach churn. "Don't worry, Vanessa," Jake mutters, his voice low and taunting as they turn toward the door. "This stays between us, our little secret." Ethan doesn't say a word, just gives a slow nod, like he's sealing some unspoken pact. The door clicks shut behind them, and the silence that follows feels heavier than their presence ever did. I stumble backward, my legs barely holding me up, until my back hits the cold tile of the shower wall. The water's still running, but it's lost all its warmth now, icy streams cascading over me, prickling my skin. I slide down, collapsing into a heap on the shower floor, my knees pulled to my chest as the chill seeps into my bones. My breath comes in jagged gasps, each one catching on a sob I can't hold back. What just happened? How did I let it get to this point? Their hands, their words, the way they crossed every line I thought was untouchable. It's all replaying in my head, a loop I can't escape, but worse than their betrayal is the gnawing, sickening feeling of my own. I didn't stop it fast enough. I didn't scream louder. Did I somehow invite this? The thought twists in my gut like a blade, sharp and unrelenting. I reach for the soap, my fingers fumbling as I scrub at my skin, harder and harder, as if I can erase the memory of their touch. The suds sting where I've rubbed too raw, but I don't stop. I can't. I need to wash away the shame, the guilt, the feeling of being tainted by something I never asked for. Tears stream down my face, mixing with the cold water, indistinguishable as they drip off my chin. My chest aches with every sob, each one quieter than the last, like I'm running out of fight. I sit there for what feels like forever, the water drumming against me, until my skin is pruned and my body feels numb. Finally, I force myself to turn off the faucet, the sudden silence deafening. I wrap a towel around myself, the fabric rough against my tender skin, and step out onto the bath mat, my legs still unsteady. Standing in front of the fogged-up mirror, I can't even look at my reflection. I don't want to see the person staring back at me, the one who let this happen. My mind is racing, a storm of questions I don't have answers for. How did I not see this coming? How could I have been so blind to who they really are? And the worst one of all, what if Mark finds out? The thought sends a fresh wave of panic through me, my heart thudding painfully against my ribs. He's downstairs, probably laughing with them right now, completely unaware of the storm brewing under his own roof. I can't face him like this, not with this weight on my shoulders, not with the fear of what he'd think if he knew. I pull on clothes mechanically, a loose shirt and sweatpants, anything to cover myself up, to hide. Each movement feels heavy, like I'm dragging myself through quicksand. As I button up the shirt, I hear it, faint at first, but unmistakable. Laughter. It's coming from downstairs, rolling up through the floorboards, carefree and loud. Jake's booming chuckle, Ethan's quieter huff, and Mark's familiar hearty laugh mixing in with theirs. It cuts through me like a knife, that sound of normalcy, of ignorance, when everything inside me is screaming with the weight of what just happened. I stand there in the bedroom, frozen, my hands still fumbling with the last button on my shirt, as their voices echo up the stairs. It's like a cruel mockery, a reminder of how close I am to losing everything if this secret spills out. My chest tightens, each breath shallow and ragged as I try to steady myself against the dresser. I can't stay up here forever, hiding like a coward, but the thought of facing them, facing Mark, makes my stomach churn with dread. I need to know what they're saying, though. I need to know if Jake and Ethan are keeping their word, if this so-called secret is truly safe, or if they're down there, right now, letting something slip. I edge toward the bedroom door, my bare feet silent against the carpet, every step deliberate and slow. My heart is a drum in my chest, pounding so hard I'm sure they'll hear it from downstairs. I ease the door open just a crack, wincing as the hinges let out a faint groan, but the laughter below drowns it out. The hallway stretches out before me, dim and empty, the stairs at the far end beckoning like a trap. I shouldn't do this. I should stay up here, lock the door, and figure out how to deal with this mess on my own terms. But the pull is too strong. The need to know what's happening, to gauge the damage, overrides every shred of caution. I creep forward, my fingers brushing the wall for balance, each step on the hardwood feeling like a gamble as I pray the old floorboards don't betray me with a creak. As I reach the top of the stairs, I crouch low, my knees pressed into the cold floor, my hands gripping the banister like it's the only thing keeping me grounded. The voices are clearer now, drifting up from the living room just beyond the bottom of the staircase. I can hear Jake's loud, gravelly tone, always dominating the conversation, and Ethan's quieter interjections, sharp and measured. Mark's voice weaves through theirs, warm and unsuspecting, and it twists something deep inside me to hear him so at ease while I'm up here, trembling with the weight of what I'm hiding. I lean forward just a little, straining to catch every word, my breath hitching as I try to stay silent. Then I hear it, Jake's voice, dripping with a sly edge, as he says, "Man, we got real clean upstairs, didn't we, Ethan?" There's a pause, a beat of silence that feels like it stretches forever, before Ethan lets out a chuckle, low and forced, like he's playing along but doesn't quite mean it. My blood runs cold. My palms are slick with sweat, sliding against the smooth wood of the banister as I tighten my grip, my nails digging into the grain. What does that even mean? Is he hinting at what happened? Dangling it like some sick inside joke right in front of Mark? My mind races, replaying the moment in the bathroom, the way they overstepped every boundary, the way their hands felt like a violation I can't scrub away. Downstairs, Mark laughs too, but there's a shift in his tone, a subtle hitch that I've heard 100 times before during our tougher moments. "What's that supposed to mean?" he asks, his voice still light but carrying an undercurrent of curiosity, maybe even suspicion. I know that tone. I've heard it in arguments, in late-night talks when he's trying to piece together something that doesn't add up. It's the tone that means he's not letting this go. My panic spikes, a sharp electric jolt that shoots through every nerve. I can feel my pulse hammering in my throat, my breaths coming too fast, too shallow, as I crouch there, paralyzed. What do I do? Do I bolt down the stairs right now, interrupt them, and spill everything before Jake or Ethan can twist the story? Do I confess? My mind is a storm, swirling with dread and indecision as I crouch at the top of the stairs, my fingers digging into the banister like it's my last lifeline. Mark's voice, tinged with that subtle edge of suspicion, echoes in my ears, and I know I can't just sit here frozen while Jake and Ethan toy with the truth downstairs. My legs tremble as I force myself to stand, the cold floor biting into my bare feet. I can't let this unravel on their terms. I have to act, to do something before everything I've built with Mark crumbles under the weight of what happened. My breath catches as I hear the creak of footsteps below, someone moving closer to the staircase. I don't have time to think. I dart back toward the bedroom, my heart slamming against my ribs, the hallway blurring as I slip inside and ease the door shut with a soft click. I'm barely inside when I hear the heavy tread of boots on the stairs. It's Mark. I'd know that steady, purposeful rhythm anywhere. My stomach lurches as I scramble to compose myself, grabbing my phone off the nightstand and pressing it to my ear, pretending to be mid-conversation. I pace a small circle near the bed, forcing my voice to carry a casual tone, even as it shakes at the edges. Yeah, no, I can get that draft to you by tomorrow, just finalizing a few details. I say to no one, hoping it sounds convincing. The door creaks open, and Mark pokes his head in, his broad frame filling the doorway. His eyes, usually warm and steady, narrow just a fraction as they land on me. I force a smile, tight and unnatural, my lips trembling despite my best efforts. Hey babe, I'm fine. Just busy with a client, I manage, waving a hand like it's nothing, though my voice betrays me with a quiver I can't hide. He doesn't say anything at first, just stands there, his gaze lingering on me in a way that makes my skin prickle. There's a flicker of doubt in his expression, a question he doesn't voice, and it cuts deeper than any words could. I can almost see the gears turning in his mind, piecing together the odd comment from Jake, my absence downstairs, the way I'm standing here now, barely holding it together. Finally, he nods, a slow, measured gesture, and mutters, "All right, just checking. We're wrapping up down there if you want to join." His tone is neutral, but that lingering look before he turns and heads back down the stairs tells me he's not entirely convinced. The sound of his footsteps fades, and I let out a shuddering exhale, relief crashing into nausea in a sickening wave. I've bought myself a moment, a tiny sliver of time, but I know it's only a temporary shield. The truth is a shadow looming over me, waiting to strike. I sink onto the edge of the bed, the mattress dipping under my weight, my hands falling limp into my lap. My eyes catch on the glint of my wedding ring, the simple band that once symbolized promises and trust, now a cold reminder of everything I've jeopardized. I twist it around my finger, the metal smooth and familiar, but it feels heavier than ever. What have I done? Not just in that moment in the bathroom, where boundaries were shattered in a way I can't unsee, but in the silence that followed. I didn't run to Mark. I didn't scream for help. I hid, cowering behind a locked door and now behind a fake phone call, letting this secret fester like a wound. The betrayal isn't just theirs. It's mine too. I've betrayed Mark by keeping this from him, by letting fear and shame silence me when he deserved the truth from the start. My chest tightens as I think about Jake and Ethan, the way they've woven themselves into our lives, into Mark's trust, only to tear at the fabric of everything I hold dear. That moment in the bathroom, the way they crossed every line with a boldness that still makes my skin crawl, it's a stain I can't wash out. Their hands, their "don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this story. This will help us create more engaging stories for you.